Right guys, welcome back to the channel and to the garden. In today's video, just going to briefly discuss plant hardiness. I know this can be kind of a misleading kind of element when you are looking at new plants. So with that said guys, sort of plant hardiness, what are we discussing here? Really is the plant's ability to tolerate various temperatures. So typically when we look at hardiness guys in the tropical gardening sector, we're mainly looking towards the lower end. So the kind of, the colder temperatures it can take as opposed to the warmer temperatures. But with that said, when it comes to hardiness, guys, each plant will have its own set of kind of limits. Now, one thing to bear in mind, guys, is in general, hardiness is based on a mature plant. So with that said, guys, when you are looking at things perhaps like your palm trees, for example, the Trachycarpus fortunei, with the ability to take cold, that is based on a large plant. So for example guys, some of the smaller plants you may have seedlings or things like that. Those may require protection as they may not be as hardy as a larger plant, which is what typically the tolerances are based off of. So it's always good to bear in mind guys that the younger the plant typically will need more protection than a larger mature plant. Now there is also the other idea guys of things like ground hardiness. So some plants will tolerate colder temperatures when they're in the ground better than, for example, pots. Now this is also due to protecting the root system. What can typically happen in pots, guys, if it does get very cold, is even a very hardy plant, if the pot does freeze through, then unfortunately that hardiness won't be the same as if it is in the ground. So something to bear in mind guys as well. Now you may have things like perennials, which will be hardy again from the ground, coming back each year. But with that said guys, of course it is always worth thinking about the general hardiness. I would never go just based off of a label. I would certainly have a look at how plants are growing in your area. Also great to look at things like forums to get an idea how the plant fares for others in similar areas to yourselves. Now with that said guys, another thing to bear in mind, of course, guys, is ideal growing conditions. For example, a lot of plants, to achieve the hardiness, will need to be kept sort of dry, as moisture can really be the killer in colder winters. So, of course, again, it does also depend on where the plant is planted. If it has things like overhead cover, all of these factors can influence hardiness. So it is always worth considering that the rated temperatures are based on ideal conditions. So I would always knock a few degrees off of what is rated compared to what is actually stated on the tag. Again guys, just things to bear in mind when taking a look at this. Of course, one thing to bear in mind guys is whenever you are purchasing or buying new plants, I would always do the research first. Can't stress that enough, as that can lead to success in the future here. Plants certainly more expensive these days than in previous years, so when you are selling out or shelling out quite a bit of cash on an investment plant, it's always good to get your figures and facts correct on this one. Now with that said guys, of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, certainly feel free to do so and follow along. A like always helps the channel to grow, and with that said, we'll see you on the next one.